everyone. My name is Pouneh Kaufman, and I work in core services engineering in Microsoft. I lead what we call the seamless teamwork experiences through collaboration, communication, and meetings that deliver a highly productive work environment for all our end users at Microsoft through Microsoft Teams and M365 services. My team and I were responsible for migrating the 200,000 users from Skype for Business to Teams. Today, I'm going to share with you how we truly reinvented productivity and changed behaviors and habits that were really tough, believe it or not. We'll also discuss how my team and I prepared and transitioned our users to ensure we have successful adoption and change management of Microsoft Teams. So let's get started. Okay, this is our goal, right? Moving to Microsoft Teams. Now, 2 years ago, when we decided to upgrade to Microsoft Teams, it enabled a company-wide cultural change. So it was really important for us at Core Services Engineering to systematically drive adoption at every step of the transition. At that time, the platform for chat, meeting, calling at Microsoft was Skype for Business, which was good, but not great. And Teams had just been released. And because both products were available inside the company, there was a ton of confusion about what to use when. But finally, when the call was made to, move off of Skype for Business and go in all on Teams, over 200,000 users had to be migrated onto the new platform. So we had to be thoughtful, implement a change management plan, actively engage executive sponsors and end users. We created training, evangelism programs, and really promoted the transition to Teams through a comprehensive strategy. So how did we do it? Let me tell you. We had to go first. We began our approach with upgrading the 14,000 conference rooms at Microsoft. Now, these were really focused based on the highest usage. So we had to prioritize based on our rollout approach. Then we decided to deploy the Teams Outlook add-in. And we began campaigns for Teams meetings and started to create some healthy competition. We never forced our users to go off to use Teams and say this is the only approach until they were fully migrated. We really wanted them to embrace Teams. And that's why we took this 3-wave approach where the conference rooms first, then introducing Teams meeting Outlook capabilities so people understood how to use the meeting features. Then we started looking at migrating the 200,000 users in a 7-phase approach. And the way we did that was we looked at data behind the scenes to make sure that we understood who was collaborating with who, because we didn't want to disrupt that process. So as we began our journey, we then decided, we need to enable our employees to be more productive, right? We were surprised when we started doing the migrations that so many people had actually uninstalled Teams. And that's where we really decided it was critical to have guiding principles established to enable our employees to be more productive. And by simplifying our processes. So we knew that if we have a strong value proposition for our users and have these guiding principles, they would help us ensure that we are successful. So in order to do that, we said, number one, we're going to elevate engagement. We're going to provide a scalable and unfragmented experience across our environments. Now, many of you may not have to deal with this, but when we thought about our ring strategy, we have multiple rings where our user goes through and different features are rolled out. And we partner very closely with the Teams engineering team to ensure that these experiences, as they're getting lit up in every ring, are available and that they're prepared for them. Then we determined that it was critical to empower our employees, right? Deliver compelling capabilities that delight and drive positive mind share and adoption. This was really important because, as you can imagine, at Microsoft, we have tons of products and services. And so often people are just, they get burnt out and they feel like, I have to learn another tool. Are you kidding me? And so it was really important to have this value proposition of empowering our employees. Then we talked about optimizing operations, right? Live, breathe the data, conduct early testing, validate with our employees before we deploy it to our customers worldwide. And that happens with our team in partnership with our team's engineering group. And it's really important that we allow that feedback early on. We had even programs when we did the migration where we allowed users to opt in early and really wanted to get in all in on the team's experience, as well as having them opt out. So we gave our users a choice as we were going through the migration until they were ready for the change. And to our surprise, we had probably 20% increase in people opting in versus a less than 1% of users wanting to opt out before the migration happened. And this is where that whole transforming our partnerships, building trust, being transparent, and ensuring that these features that were being rolled out to our user community, there was training, there was content, there was frequently asked questions, and really known issues at the time, and so this was critical because it helped us develop trust. Then, once we established our guiding principles, we set out to define our adoption strategy. Microsoft Teams is so important to the M365 suite. We wanted to create buzz around the launch and set up employees with resources for success. We created multiple avenues to reach users, all aligned on messaging and timing through theme-based campaigns. To build awareness, we had localized training. We developed what we call the Art of Teamwork training. We tailored the content for each region, for each country. We built Teamwork Champions community. You'll hear me talk about this next, but it was essential to the success of our project to ensure that we could scale at a global level. We also wanted to elevate engagement, as I said. We developed what we called white glove services. This was really a white glove service to allow our users to come to us and ask for more training. If the Art of Teamwork training that we provided online and in person wasn't enough, we would be willing to go out and do customized training, do it for the all hands presentations, meet with different organizations. So it became really important, again, to share our successes, to be able to ensure that we had worldwide training available and that we had our teamwork champions, again, supporting us. Then we looked at measurement. This was really difficult in the beginning because we needed to understand, are we ready for the migration? Are our users ready? How much training was enough? At what point did we feel that we could migrate these users, through each phase? And so we established new metrics around adoption, readiness. We implemented listening systems, which was critical to get that feedback through Yammer, through surveys that we did pre, during, and post the migration. And we established technical support and leveraged our teamwork champions for that. So we made sure that our support teams were in line with our strategy, with our plan from day one. They were core to the success of the project. And we reached out to our teamwork champions to really, as we were going through phases, get the excitement up and get people to answer questions and support them if people came across challenges. And the last thing is, the most important is really thinking about management and ongoing success through feedback. We knew there had to be product improvements. Now, this is 2 years ago, mind you, when, Teams had just become GA. And so, we wanted to make sure our users understood the roadmaps, what features were coming. We had to communicate timing to our users. And again, we leveraged our teamwork champions to really accelerate and drive the adoption of what we were doing. With this core framework for adoption we built, we were able to accelerate our plans, improve employee satisfaction, and be the innovation catalysts. This adoption campaign contributed to a 40% increase in weekly active usage of Teams in the first 2 months of the migration. And we continued to see strong growth. And that's where we knew things had become successful for us. Now, I talked a little bit about our teamwork champions. This is really important for us because it was an opt-in volunteer effort to spread support and training on Microsoft Teams. We started with 28 users. Today, we have over 1,500 users in 58 countries and 158 buildings. We built digital badges to really recognize people. And so when we started this program, we just said, we need to scale. And my manager in leadership said to me, Pouneh, how are you going to be able to ensure that there's training and readiness across 200,000 users? You can't be just doing training. And so I thought about it and I said, yes, we're going to have these Teamwork Champions community. We're going to set up a web page. We're going to send them electronic welcome letters. We're going to give them onboarding packets. We're going to give them stickers. And most importantly, digital badges, right, to recognize them in the community so people knew who they were and they could go to them for help. And they learned, are a part of this whole program that we built to be a part of the Teamwork Champion communities. They learned how to deliver different trainings. We set up level 100, level 200 Art of Teamwork training, and we gave them the content they needed, and we helped them deliver the success. So this was a great opportunity for everyone. And at the time, again, Teams was new, and so we had a lot of excitement. And people just started joining. And to our surprise, we went from 28 to 1,500 within 6 months of our program. And so how did we do that? We recruited people through active Yammer participation. We monitored people that were really supportive to the community. We went after them first. We looked at our field support and IT managers. We looked at what we call Teams Elite members, and they're the group of people that do the dog fooding, the early testing, and the early rings for us. And we looked at people that started attending our Art of Teamwork training sessions, and the ones that had passion and excitement and really wanted to learn and help others in our communicating. So that was really part of our recruiting process. We also wanted to make sure that as we were rolling out the program and driving adoption, that this Teamwork Champions community was global. It was identifiable through our badges. We had to give our champions specific work to do, and we had to give them a value proposition, right? So what they did for us, some of the gives that they provided as being a part of this community, was making sure they provided Art of Teamwork training, setting up office hours for their organizations, helping with the Yammer support groups, helping with Teams Champions community in the channels. And what did they get from us, right? This was on top of their work. So they got the digital badge. We gave them swag. We engaged with the product groups. We did monthly sessions with our product engineering teams so that they could see what's coming in the roadmaps. And we gave them access to other folks in the community, which was really amazing. And so when you look at the retention here, we started with 74% in April of 2018. And by the time we were finished, we were at 99.7%. Our chat went from 33% to 94% usage. Meetings went from 41% to 91%. So you can see it had a tremendous impact on the Art of the Champions, had a tremendous impact on our group. Then we decided, you know what? Let's think about how can we make this fun? Let's gamify this, right? So we started building a leaderboard. And based on people's participation in Yammer, in training sessions, in their responses in the Teams channels, we built a training board where they would get a leaderboard, where they would get points every month for attending Train the Trainer webinars, hosting training sessions, hosting the office hours, responding to questions on Yammer and channels, and they got points. And based on that, we were able to view where they were in their Teamwork Champion community globally. We were able to look at their status in regional levels, during the country. By city, we were able to identify their rank. and then by their EVP. And as you can imagine, this created more healthy competition across our leaders at Microsoft, right? And so people started getting really excited, and we wanted to make sure we recognized them. And so we did monthly giveaways and swag and really try and help build this community up even more when we started this. Then we said, okay, now we got the leaderboard. Now we want to go and do some more fun activities, right? There was not only online training, which we had, and in-person training of Art of Teamwork. Our executives came to us and said, Pouneh, I don't have time to attend all these training sessions. I don't have time to watch these training videos, even though we made 2-minute and 3-minute snackable videos. We thought, how do we get excitement? How do we get people engaged to adopt teams and really learn the most critical behaviors, right? And again, mind you, this was 2 years ago, so it wasn't as easy. We didn't have this vast community and resources at our fingertips. We came up with things as we were going to really try and drive adoption and the change within our company. So we started coming up with a Teams 20 challenge. This was built into Teams where leaders could compete and complete 20 short tasks in Teams, tasks that were live, but set for a time period. And they clicked each task. They would take about 3 minutes. So they were awarded points. And then we had a leaderboard, again, to make sure that people knew where they stood. And this created healthy competition across our leaders. And for the ones that really didn't have the time, it enabled them to, communicate this to their leadership teams and really drive more awareness and usage of Teams. We did lots of studies trying to understand, who has the most impact on our users. And we truly found out it was our leaders and managers. If they started communicating with Teams, our users would communicate in Teams. So we knew from the beginning we had to get our LT and our managers onto Teams and really excited about it, as well as our users, so they could get this energy going across the organization. So this was actually the gamification. When you look at the Teams 20 challenge with the 5 points, it allowed you to go through. There was 40-second videos. You were able to follow these chats. It was really fun to do. So then what next? We did the leaderboards. We did these game challenges. There was more. Believe it or not, we started building bots. Now, bots and apps are really a huge ecosystem and part of the Teams platform now. But again, 2 years ago, this wasn't as available. And we knew we had to automate and create solutions and opportunities for learning in our organization. And we felt that by gamifying this and creating a learning bot within Teams, this would help us drive more adoption and create that fun and energy for people to want to learn and compete against each other. And so we built a gamified learning bot. And this really started as a hackathon project. And then we built upon it. And it was pretty amazing because we saw the usage. We got our Xbox teams. We got our PlayFab teams. We got so much excitement from them that they helped us finish the bot. And it really helped improve adoption. Now, thinking about a change management strategy, right? So a key component not only was adoption, but a key component was our change management strategy. I'll tell you, our leaders asked me so many times, Pouneh, why are you spending so much time on change management and adoption? We're Microsoft. We don't need all this. Well, we knew they were wrong. We knew that the key to success was alignment across the organization with our leaders and our sponsors. So we implemented a change management strategy. We identified executive sponsors at the executive VP levels. We identified primary change agents in everyone in the organization. We also identified, our worldwide core landing team, which was my team. And then we identified business partners with my team that would work with the organization. And through this, we were able to provide scenario-based guidance on Microsoft Teams, provide global packages of assets to leverage comms, training, and readiness, and provide usage and adoption reporting to the leaders so they knew at every stage where they were and what the status was and what the usage was. Then we took this feedback and we iterated. We continuously improved so that we could drive the next phase of the project and continue the learning and adoption to change behavior. This was really important for us because these executive sponsors were able to help ensure their organizations were ready for the change. We also had local teamwork champions and IT managers that helped drive the messaging, provide support, and really evangelize the process. Now, thinking about this whole change management strategy, we had to make sure that there was a repeatable process for each organization to truly reinforce the commitment from our leaders. So there was a series of emails in 3 waves that went out between their migration phase, right? We had 7 phases. During each phase, each organization that went had certain emails. So 1 month prior, we engaged with the org leaders and a communication was sent from our senior leadership about the team's migration. The second email was sent 3 weeks before the upgrade actually happened from the EVP. These are the org leaders that were there to reinforce the upgrade on timing, the value proposition, and next steps. And finally, the email was sent 2 weeks prior to the upgrade from Core Services Engineering, our team, confirming the timing and their date and really what to expect during the migration. And so I said once before early on, during this time, this last email that was sent to our users, we did still allow them to opt out if they had a reason. We set up specific forms to allow people. And knowing that, I think our user community felt trust and felt comfortable that we could go forward, right? And so this was imperative. Think about when you're doing your migration or when you're trying to drive change in an organization, make sure you have the tools available for your customers or your users so that they can help succeed, right? This was a key part of it. So now, right, we went through the migration, we completed our migration, and fast forward 1 year, right? We really thought about what was our seamless teamwork priorities, right? You know, we never knew there was going to be a global pandemic. We knew that a year later, we had to really still drive new behaviors and drive what we called seamless teamwork and healthy teamwork behaviors. So when we look at this, we had a phase 1, right, to where we migrated all our users, making sure that they knew how to use chat, meeting, calling, and show them the value of it, versus Skype for Business. So that was our phase 1. Now this next phase was really about getting our users engaged, shifting teamwork activities into channels, starting with channel conversations, modernizing our platform to enable effective sharing and co-authoring, integrating workflows to drive business processes, and really helping get people to understand the value of engagement. And this next phase that we're in is really where we think about driving transformational teamwork productivity. And what I mean by that is scale up more, create workspaces, allow people to have self-service teams creation. We've built apps and bots and templates to help our users deliver teams at scale at bulk for our worldwide learning groups, our Xbox teams, our retail stores. Our team was really all about making sure we optimize workflows and drive apps and bots into the team's environment. Why did we feel that that was valuable? Let me tell you, because we looked at research behind the scenes and said, there is some key teamwork behaviors we want to get. And we knew in phase 2 and 3, where it was about getting engaged and productive, We need to tap into these behaviors. And the only way to do that was through workflows, channel conversations, and driving this. So thinking about healthy behaviors, there was 4 key interaction activities we looked at: decision participation, making transparent decision making through channels, easy information access, right? Having your teams and organizations work in team so that everything is in one place, the hub for teamwork. Idea sharing, creating a space where people have the freedom to share information and ideas with their colleagues, and making connections, right? Again, we didn't know back then that we would be in a global pandemic where we wouldn't be in the office together, and teams became more essential for us to create these interpersonal connections. And based on these behaviors, we were able to go and establish investment areas. And we said, for our organization, after the migration, this is how we're going to drive productivity. This is how we're going to continue to drive adoption. We wanted to make investments. So we've doubled down on templates and auto updates, making sure we have templates in a program which you'll see. It's called Teams Command Center that we're launching, where you'll have updated teams and channels and gives users the ability to leverage templates and change them on the fly and deploy them. And it's really phenomenal. We talked a little bit about workflow automation, apps, speeding DevOps collaboration. We knew that 51% of our organization was engineering. So we had to establish a DevOps playbook and ensure that our engineers started working and integrating new developed DevOps apps into Teams so that they can start publishing and using Teams as really a DevOps platform. Continue to double down on adoption and change management because it helps drive clarity in change management. We wanted to continue to create pilot sessions, inspire awareness, and promote an environment of inclusion and culture. And Teams enabled us to do that. And lastly, we knew that we had to influence our product engineering groups. As much as this community is so valuable and your feedback is instrumental to Microsoft and through user voice, we also, our internal Microsoft group, Core Services Engineering, which is IT, formerly IT, we knew we had to work closely still with our engineering teams to help them prioritize and ensure that we get these exciting features delivered. So there was a lot there. I went through it pretty fast, but I want to make sure that you guys understand from, the last 2 years that we went through the migration pre-COVID to post-COVID, and where all work has shifted, it's still important as far as having lessons learned, through this and really understanding that. A key one for us was all around accessibility. We learned this late on because we had, feedback from our accessibility groups that Teams wasn't ready 2 years ago. Now, again, it's in a different place, but making sure that you understand the needs of your community is really essential to the success. Defining your communications framework, creating a value proposition around your audience, capturing issues and surfacing it, right? Making sure your users understand what that experience is and gain that trust. Identifying key stakeholders for each organization, right? This goes back to our change management strategy, where we feel it's important to have org leaders sponsor this from the top down. Utilizing multiple channels to reach your audience, completing obviously on-prem to online migration of accounts first, being able to measure your deployment and communication satisfaction, and building processes at scale, right? So that you can make sure everything is available across your IT. So these were all the essential tools that helped us lead us to success in our adoption, in our change management and program efforts. I think we're right at time. I hope you enjoyed this session. I will make sure that all this content is available for you. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them. But if not, please go and rate this session. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Give me feedback so I can help our community and you, most importantly, to learn more about how we do things internally at Microsoft. So thank you so much. Have a great day.